Hello, I'd like to demonstrate Apsana for you today. What Apsana is about is a single online database in which your users can maintain all of their data, all accessible using a web browser and nothing else. Apsana can store any sort of data. It can store leads and projects and patient info. It can store asset information, bug lists, what have you. Any sort of structured data can be stored in it. It can let you search and filter across multiple tables that are related together within the application, as you will see. It will let you establish your own relationships between the table structures that are specific to your domain. It can let you create cross-table reports where fields are drawn from several related tables, all shown in one representation. It can present the data in alternate views such as tabular format, calendars, pivot layouts, and so on. So let's walk through a demonstration where I have an empty application to start with, and I will populate it with data containing lead and activity information just to illustrate the way it works. So here's an empty application, and here is some lead data that I will fill into it. Here is some activity data that is related to the lead data. So let's start by creating a new table called a lead. So now we'll switch over to the lead info CSV file, copy it, paste it into the box below, choose tabs as the separator, click next, make this last but one column be mapped to record UID, click next, and when we hit the import button now, we're done with the import. When we hit the done button, you'll find a new tab here which contains the newly imported records in a what is called full view with the list on the left and a detail panel on the right. This list is sortable by column, as you can see. It is also pageable. There's a pagination ribbon at the top. It is searchable using a fairly simple search using the box here, or an advanced search in which you can choose any of the fields of the newly imported table as criterion for the search. You can also add new records into this table using an add form that is also automatically generated. You can even save these things as filters. For example, when I say save as filter, a box appears, and I can save the criteria as a filter, which then appears among the filter choices right away. Next, I will import another table, the activities table this time. And the idea is to illustrate how the relationships between the data records is maintained by this system. And in this case, I need to make a couple of changes to the system guesses of data types. The activity for column now should be set up as a reference to the lead table. The duration column should be chosen to be of type duration, and the all-day activity column should be of type yes, no. I click next. We're now ready to import, and when we finally click the done button, we will see another tab containing the activities associated with these leads. Notice that we now have a child tab containing the lead to which the activity is related. Similarly, if you go back to the leads list, you have a child tab containing all of those activities to which the detailed record is related. In fact, you can even search by filter conditions that apply from fields in the other table. So if you pull down the list of fields now, you see not just the fields in the lead, but also the fields in the activities. So for example, I can extract all those leads for whom there is at least one high priority activity associated. So if I do that, I get 23 leads. If I change this to low priority, I get only 2 leads. So what that is doing is applying a filter condition based on criteria that come from the secondary table, which is the activity table here. There are a couple of other ways that you can view this data. For example, you can say tabular view, and it gives you a list of all of the records in tabular form instead of in the full view form. You can say calendar view, and it gives you a calendar representation of all the records based upon the date fields in the record. So for example, I can in this calendar I have all the records that appear in this cell of leads that have been contacted on June 4th. Notice also that filter criteria that you have saved as filters will be available across all the views that are available in the system. So now we'll look at some of the reporting capabilities that AppsONA provides. So we'll click Reports, and the first example is a very simple one that I want to show you. I want a report of the lead counts by product interest. So I'm going to add product interest as a field in the table in the report, and then I'm going to add the record UID count as another field, and I click Save and Run, and I get exactly what I want: the product interest in the first column and the count of leads in the second column. I can visualize this as a bar chart, for example, with the product interest as a row label and the record count as a bar value, and I get a simple bar chart. Let's now build a little bit more sophisticated report in which what I want to do is I want to segment my leads based on multiple criteria. So let us say I want a report that is called lead segmentation, in which I get a product interest. I'm sorry, that's what I wanted. I wanted product interest. I did not want the phone field, so I get rid of it. Let's say I want also the state of the lead, what state they came from, and I want the record count. So what this is going to give me is a report that contains the product interest, the state, and the number of leads with that product interest and that state. So if you now save and run, you see the product interest broken down by state and the lead count for that pair. And we can then visualize this, in this case, say as a matrix, in which case I want the rows are grouped by product interest, columns grouped by state, and in each field I want to show the record UID count. And you see a matrix exactly the way we want it. So that was a quick overview of what AppsONA can do. We think it's a very powerful system, and I think it'll serve your needs very well. Do give it a shot. Sign up at appsona.com. Thanks for watching.